In 1992, a small group of local business people and community leaders discussed the possibility of creating a program that would inform Terrebonne Parish residents of issues facing the area, with the hope that these participants would then become more active contributors and leaders in the parish.
TEDCO formed a group called Terrebonne First, and they hired a professor from UNO, Darryl McKee, and I finally remembered his name on the way over here today, to do a needs assessment of Terrebonne Parish. And we set up interviews, personal interviews, one-on-one interviews with, I think, about 100 people, all walks of life in Terrebonne Parish. And he gave us his findings. And one of them, he gave us 7 points, and I don't remember what the other points were, but one of them was the need for a leadership program. And Sharon Bergeron and Hartwell Lewis, J.J. Buquet, Bob Schmidt, Carlton Casey, Alvin Tillman, Charles Brown, those are some of the people that were instrumental. Sharon was just absolutely awesome. And unfortunately, she passed away this month, and we miss her greatly. And the program could not have survived without the help of the Chamber of Commerce, because the Chamber of Commerce provided the administrative staff, and we were housed in the Chamber office for a lot of years, until just a couple of years ago.
Led by a professional facilitator, participants learn about featured topics from the decision makers and agency representatives who are considered local experts during day-long sessions each month.
Well, I really loved the program when I got to do it. The first year that we were doing Leadership Terrebonne, we were supposed to start in October, but then we had a hurricane, and then we had to get into the schedule that we're currently following, and we started in 1993. I loved the program. I was fired up every time I'd go to a session. I'd go home and I wouldn't shut up. I would talk to my husband about what I'd learned, and I was so tied into this. And I joined the Alumni Association. I was a young mom then. I had a young child, and I did a few things, but I ran into Kay one day in the grocery store, and she said, this was a few years after that, and she's after I had been in the class, and she said, we're looking for a local facilitator. And she said, we're going to be doing some interviews. You ought to think about doing that. So, I went home and talked with my husband about it. And I mean, he knew that that would be something that I would really like to do, just because I was so excited about, participating. And then I got permission from my, employers, to be able to do this. And so my job interview was, the facilitator that we had at the time had a lot of family stuff going on and was missing a lot of the sessions. And as it turned out, he was going to miss a session. And instead of having a traditional job interview, they said, can you go do, I think it was economic development at downtown at the Whitney Bank. I didn't know people. I didn't know who was in the class. I didn't know the agenda. And they said, just be nice and talk to them. And I said, okay, I think I could do that. And so I think they came and checked on me during the day. I think the evaluation that day turned out to be pretty good. And then they offered me the job. So, I think it was just because of my great experience, as a class member, and just enjoyed knowing everything that I could know about Terrebonne Parish. And then the ability then to help transfer that knowledge to subsequent classes is what really was so engaging for me to be a facilitator.
And while a few program graduates have gone on to become elected leaders of our community, all alumni have come away from the program with leadership skills beneficial in both their professional and personal lives.
You need to learn about the parish that you live in, work in, raise your family. And it's not all just one-dimensional. I mean, like I said, we all, live and work in our own little bubble, but it's just mind-blowing as how it intertwines like a spider web, and just to make sure that our parish thrives. And if you have any aspirations on being a leader. And sometimes you just don't have to have a title to be a leader. Leadership is within. Okay, you can be a subordinate and still have leadership qualities. So if you recognize that in someone, I mean, by all means, give them that opportunity to come through Leadership Terrebonne, because that would only enhance their leadership skills.
First of all, my name's Stephanie Hebert. Graduated in 1997. Can't believe it's been that long. What inspired me to join Leadership Terrebonne was the fact that I always believe that the more you get involved in your community, the better you are. Learning about things, we don't realize how much there is in Terrebonne Parish till you get involved in it.
What inspired me to do this was just to do something different. It allowed us to see the entire parish as opposed to just the little circle we live in with the fire service.
It gave me the amazing opportunity to connect. It gave me the opportunity to rethink routine, to do things differently, to make sure that I connected and did things that were meaningful both to myself and the people that I live with in my community as well.
We just had our 16th person go through the program, and we're looking forward to having the 17th go through it. And again, it's a great way for them to not only develop themselves, interact with a group of people that I know will become their friends, because 22 years later, the people in that course are still my friends, and just help them to develop and grow as an individual.
You just really have to be open-minded whenever you go into the class. And if you can take a little bit from each class, each month, you're gonna be a better person and a better leader by the end, and you're gonna have friendships that will carry on for the rest of your life.
Christy, what I always tell people when I'm encouraging them to become a member of the class is that you learn the good, the bad, and the ugly about Terrebonne Parish. And you go out and you talk about the good, and you go do something about the bad and the ugly.
So thank you, alumni, for your contributions. You've helped to improve Terrebonne Parish for the last 30 years. We are so excited to see how your leadership will continue to shape Terrebonne Parish into the place we get to call home.